Now we're talking more about, I guess, the tactics that you can employ with some of that, those foundational elements like your one-liner and some of your copy and such. But what would be your tips to people who are like looking to dip a toe in the pool in terms of different marketing tactics they could try, Facebook ads, Instagram? You know, if like you say, you can't, it's hard to really see if to attribute the data to any one of these things. I mean, to say that they just need intuition, I mean, that's difficult, right? Because some people just won't be able to do that. So can you speak more on
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I would say there's the email and blog content. That's pretty much free. Everybody should be doing that stuff. Um, I think as long as you're targeting geolocating around your business, Facebook and Instagram is probably the next best thing to try. But again, I think sometimes people too, if the most time should be spent on crafting that message to make sure for a small business, everything you do should be about getting somebody to get in the funnel and get their information so you can get them in to schedule a workout instead of trying to build a brand with marketing. Like for a small business, building a brand with marketing is just a waste of money. I think even big brands just burn money trying to build a brand with their
And what do you
advertising.
mean by building a brand?
Not having a call to action, like just being cute. So that's a common mistake, I think, and even more so for a small business that can't afford to be cute with their marketing. So anything we try to do is should have an opportunity. I mean, Spotify is unique in that there's no place, if they're using the app, technically they could click on the ad, but typically everything we do has some opportunity for someone to click, give us their information, respond to the ad so that we can get them in the funnel versus thinking we're going to build brand awareness. And next time that person thinks about wanting to work out, they're going to remember Quantify. That's just not the way it works for a small business. So making sure any activities you're doing have an opportunity for someone to provide their information so you can get them in.
Yeah, and I want to get back to attribution in a minute because I might have contradicted my other point, and I want to dig deeper on that in a second with you. But I love this idea of branding being a bit of a waste of time. Now, can we extend that out to like these, you know, organizations, small businesses who are like trying to build brand on Facebook and Instagram, trying to build lots of followers, spending lots of time and energy doing that? Do you think that's valuable?
I mean, if they're doing organic stuff, that's not as that's probably not a problem. It's more of when you're spending paid media to get followers. I don't know that followers really correlate with sales. Pretty sure it doesn't unless you have like millions of followers or something where, I mean, with organic, even with 10,000 followers, the number of people that actually see your stuff is relatively small. I think that the platforms sort of make you pay money if you really want the people to see what you're posting.
Exactly. Well, this is my point. It's like even the organic stuff, it takes time, right? Time to put posts. And I'm not saying, I think there might be value, there certainly is value in social media, but I'm just wondering if people are just, yeah, like putting up posts, putting a lot of thought into the creative and all their social media platforms just to build up their social media following and their quote unquote personal or business brand. That is probably not the right objective or maybe not the right activity.
Yeah, and I think it just depends on the individual. Some people are just natural at that kind of stuff. I suck at when it comes to doing organic posts, and I mean, I hate that kind of stuff. That's why I ran marketing and didn't do that kind of stuff. We had people do that for us, but yeah, like the TikTok stuff. I mean, there's people that are just good at that, and if they can create that content without spending days, hours, then more power to them. But yeah, I think it just comes down to how much time you are spending on creating that stuff and what you're getting out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I do know of businesses outside of our space, I'm sure you do too, that get like 80% of their revenue from social media. So it definitely, definitely has its place for sure. But to your point, they do want you to pay for greater reach. So you have to factor that in. So if you're doing a lot of work on the organic side, it's sometimes challenging to see an ROI on that if the reach is so low, if you don't go paid at some point, right? Whereas with assets you control, which you mentioned, like building a popular blog, doing more content marketing, and building your email list, that's probably a better place to invest your energy, because you're then going to capture that email, and as you've been saying, get people into an email sequence where you can start to promote the free workout or your primary offer to that person. Now, I guess this is quite interesting where we're going with this, because it's like going back to attribution, right? I mean, forgive me, Josh, if because you are way better at marketing than me, and I'm just trying to understand this better. So you were saying before how for a small business you have to kind of intuit what works, and it's difficult to be data driven, right? But then what I don't quite understand is, well, hang on, if I do something like you were saying there, if you do a Spotify campaign is different, because that maybe is quite challenging, because like you said to me before, the attribution is more directional, right? Oh, I heard you on Spotify, but did you hear me somewhere else first, right? Or whatever it was. But with like a Facebook ad, that's pretty clear, right? If they've come through that form fill, they've filled in, they've come through Facebook. So that is, you can measure that. So
Yeah, but there's still people that may
not
not fill out the form, and they'll call in or they'll stop it.
Okay.
So you get people still, even that don't go through the ideal flow.
Right, got you. So they might start it, stop it, get you some other way, right? And
Right.
do you always ask clients like how they hear about you, or do you just not bother? Okay, you do.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah. I think the other thing,
and you
too,
take it with a pinch of salt, right?
Yeah, with a brick and mortar business too. I mean, when you look at a lot of these other influencers and people doing social media marketing, a lot of times they're just selling something online, which is a lot easier than getting somebody to get in their car and drive over and come to your business, especially if they're 10, 15 miles away. So that's just another reason why more discipline, I think, is necessary when it comes to marketing for something like this, if you don't want to lose money or if you don't want to waste money.